Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2018. Susan has made some progress, but she's also had a giant leap backwards. But once we address the issues related to that leap, she's going to be much better for it in the long run. I worked with RJ to set all of the clench nails and the rivet nails below the waterline, and as we were doing it, we worked along the keel, and RJ was inside and said, "Oh my goodness, I see light. I see lots of light. We've got at least a half-inch space between the edge of the Keelson, just about under the helm station, and the garboard." Well, indeed we did, and indeed we do. And it is right here. Over the many years, this oak edge of the Keelson, and we are here is the bulkhead, so it's just after the bulkhead, and it's really shot. Well, what are our options? One option would be to take a fine tool and excise this material back to where it's decent and scab on some new material, call it good, button it up and say, well, that's good. Well, we decided not to do that. We decided that we would remove the keel so that we could be sure that this 78-year-old hull still was sound from the keel up. We were really impressed as we set these clench nails. There's some minor splitting here or there that we can deal with fairing compound. The keel itself, which is white oak, is absolutely sound. No issues anywhere other than being kind of dirty. But then came time to release the Keelson, and the people at Lyman in 1940 must have had some extra buckets of screws, because at every rib we had a fastener, and a fastener. And then we also had, between ribs, fasteners that went from the inside out into the keel. So as you sort of line things up here, you can see that on about a 6-inch interval, let me get it pretty well lined up, over the ribs, there was a fastener passed from the inside through the Keelson and into the keel. Well, I think you'd agree that once we release this, let me try to tip it up easier for you to see as I walk along. She's really ready to be replaced. The chamfered edges are sort of okay, but as you can see, as I slide it along, that was the starboard side we saw over there of the Keelson. This is the port edge. And the port edge is, I mean, there's nothing we could do to get a secure grip here. And if I keep sliding the Keelson forward to where, let me just double check to make sure we've got it. Yes, to where the prop shaft passes through, I mean, it's just all broken up. On the reverse side, you get even a somewhat better look. What's really interesting about the construction of this boat are these positioning wooden dowels that are everywhere along the keelson. They pass up into the, excuse me, I'm upside down. They pass through the block. There's a block here, there's a block there. This is the lifting ring right here. We have those wooden dowels everywhere, and we've taken lots of photographs of them, and we will reinstall them, probably using new material. But the good news, other than being having really dirty undersides, the ribs, save for one right here, are, sorry for jumping around a little bit, are in excellent shape. But this very last one, let me just grab a board with a pretty straight edge. The very last one, get the keel out of the way. If we lay the straight edge onto this rib and this rib, they both meet and are consistent with the transom. This one's dropped by, well, whatever the depth of my finger is, half an inch, 3/8 of an inch. Somewhere in that area, somewhere in the area of 3/8. This is where the rudder shaft passes through the shaft log, and the rudder, of course, sits up here. We'll have to address this. We can't leave this, well, it's upside down again. We can't leave this, let's just say, deflected into the bilge like this. Now, I guess you could say we could, once we have toothpicked every one of these holes, and we will toothpick every single hole over this entire length, say, well, just put in a larger screw and reef down on it and you'll pull that up. Well, that doesn't sound like a proper repair. So we will sister a mate to this rib in place, so that when we set a straight edge down, everything is consistent and in line. As you saw, there were multiple places on the keelson where various blocks were installed. Yeah, here they are. And I fully understand the fact that we are preservationists, but sometimes preservation just makes no sense when it is compromising structural integrity. These 4 blocks, which are way down in the bilge, way up forward, ahead of the helm station bulkhead, these we can clean up and reuse. Probably even reuse these same fasteners. And here's something for you to pay attention to as you tear boats apart. Any of the brass green. It's intriguing. Now that I've removed 2 strakes, the keelson, the keel, all of these interior blocks, I have yet to lay eyes on any green brass. So water simply did not get in and was not sitting forever. But be that as it may, here are, it's out of the way, here are 2 blocks, approximately correct, that the prop shaft runs through. I mean, there's just no point trying to get glue to hold when you have almost no face to glue to. These blocks, I think we can clean up and reuse. This one, we can glue, clean up, and reuse. This one is pretty much shot. We'll remake that. We'll remake that. We'll remake that. The jury's still out on this one. this little block where the water pickup passes through. I wasn't even able to save all of it. It will be remade, fabricated anew. This one's kind of tough because this is a big piece. It's absolutely original, but it's no longer absolutely straight. It's cupped this way. I hate to do it, but my instinct is to replace that piece. And at the end of the day, we may decide that these braces, because it's going to be difficult to get them clean enough that they will accept a clear penetrating epoxy sealer, and that they're pretty critical to the forward part of the hull and the keel and the stem. Excuse me, yes, the keel and the stem. In this case, the keel and the grape, holding their shape and the hull holding its shape. So I will attempt to clean these, see where we get out some sandpaper, and make a decision later. But we still, on the whole, are really fortunate. I'll have to say, I've been into, I don't know, 40 odd, 50 odd boats by this point. And you can tell if somebody's been in there before you. We are the first people to be removing fasteners from this hull. This hull has never been touched from 1940 to the present. There are some little repairs here or there. You can see where the odd clench nail failed and somebody attempted to put a little brass screw, flathead screw in place. Most of those have failed, of course, because you had the great big hole, and whoever tried that didn't go through the extra effort of toothpicking and filling. So this is where we are on the 1940 16-foot Lyman Yacht Tender Susan on January 3rd, 2018. Thank you so much, and bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.